Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing off 1.20, the Trails and Tails update, not to be confused with Trails and Tails as in Animal Tales, which, of course, is kind of confusing. However, before I begin, remember, please like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's investigate what the latest update for Minecraft has in store. Over at the wiki page right now, we can see what's going on with this update. We have the major features here, some bamboo wood, along with a unique block that's exclusive to the bamboo wood, a mosaic, calibrated skulk sensors, and we got a whole cherry set of wood, chiseled bookshelves, archaeology as a whole, hanging signs, piglin heads, which are kind of niche, a couple of new plants. We got, of course, the suspicious blocks that include archaeology, sniffer eggs, which means sniffers are here now, 2 plants associated with the sniffer, more archaeology things, more music in the game, another structure known as trail ruins, and a lot of other things, including armor trims. We can now have cosmetics in-game. Of course, there's a lot more going on, like camels and such, but still, we should just look in-game for those. Over in the one new biome brought with this update, the cherry groves, we can see we have 2 new wood types. One, cherry wood, which is not accurate to real life. In real life, it's a little bit more orange, it's not pink at all. And it does not produce cherries, because cherry trees and cherry fruit trees are 2 separate things. Therefore, there isn't too much food here. But fortunately, there are pigs and sheep and rabbits in this biome, no cows though. Of course, we also have bamboo, which is its own wood set in of itself, which is pretty nice. Both of these are pretty simple to get. One is just another wood, while bamboo can be crafted with bamboo, as the name implies. Although, it's a little bit more costly to account for how common bamboo is when you can get it. Also in this biome, we can see there are a nice little plant down here that do not look Minecraft-like, called pink petals. They work like sea pickles. We have one like this, another one like that, and some more. We can see that they all follow their own little pattern, and they face different directions according to F3. Which means, depending on which direction you're facing while you're placing them, you can get different things. Unfortunately though, we cannot crush them by placing blocks. It will go above, which will make building in this biome pretty annoying, as, well, this was changed pretty late on, you can insta-mine them. But originally you could not. So if you go into some of the snapshots, building in a cherry grove would be very tough. But now, you just have to destroy all the blocks in your way before placing down stuff. You may also notice the particles coming down from the leaves, and yep, these things work like the blossoms over in the lush caves. Spore blossoms to be exact, which is an oxymoron, but still. We can see this biome is pretty well filled. To find this biome, it will be found with a 50-50 chance of replacing a meadow, using the weirdness value factor. Which means, wherever you are, some of your meadows might get replaced with cherry groves, which means all the world seeds have been slightly edited as a result. Then, you can also see the grass is a little bit greener here, but otherwise, this biome is not terribly interesting, but it is pretty to look at. Over in the desert biome, we have another change of pace. We have the camel, a very rare mob that only generates within desert villages, which means if it was hiding on the other side of a hill and you did not notice it, the camel may have wandered off. But there is indeed a 100% chance for them to generate. All camels come pre-tamed, which means you can just snatch it, and it's yours now. It has a lot of HP, and you can saddle it up. Compared to a horse, it has a more progressive running speed, rather than being more like an increased movement with little to no back. We can see that the back is instant, like a horse, but the front starts off pretty slow. But there's a couple of unique features that makes this mount a little bit better than everyone else. Although it's not the amount to have, because mules still carry chests, donkeys have no good things about them, and horses are just quicker. Well, I said it's peaceful, but fixing that real quick, a zombie invasion is here. But fortunately, you're on your camel. You are safe because it's too tall. This seems like a bug during development, but hey, it's a feature now. You can just slowly walk away, or you can yeet yourself away. I'm not joking, that's the subtitle for it if you see in the bottom right. As you can see, I can jump over long gaps with a very far horizontal. Not to mention, if I had friends, I could get another person riding this thing with me, which means it's the perfect co-op animal. Good mobility, high amounts of HP in case one of your friends is clumsy with the bow, and otherwise, it's, well, the camel. It can also step up blocks like this, kind of like a horse. To breed it, you need to find 2 desert villages to get your 2 camels initially, and they are bred using cacti. However, one sad thing about the camel is that it's pretty lazy. Occasionally, it will lay down and become inactive, which means it's not reliable like a horse, because it will just lay down and then, oh no, I need to get away from somewhere. Well, it decided nap time's right now as you promptly get shanked by everyone. While in the desert now, you can do a little bit of archaeology. Located inside of desert temples and desert wells, you can find some sand hidden around. This sand, however, is not your normal sand. As you can see, when you start digging it out, some of it might look a little bit strange. And of course, more digging has to be done because some of it was sandstone because this is not naturally generated. But aside from that, you can see you heard a cracking noise. That's because I didn't break sand, I broke something else, suspicious sand. And when you brush suspicious sand, you can get various treasures, such as pottery shards. I know they're spelled shard, but they're pronounced the same. And you can find other treasures within them. There are currently 16 different pottery shards, and you can also do this in underwater ruins. Look around your oceans, and if you see an ocean ruins, and it's also made out of sandstone, you can potentially find yourself a sniffer egg. From pottery, we can get all these different pots. Using the various pottery shards, we have from the warm ocean ruins, which are all those who have suspicious sand under them. If they have orange terracotta, that means desert temple. Desert well if they have smooth sandstone. Cold ocean ruins if they have suspicious gravel. And if they have spruce planks, they come from trail ruins. But we'll get to those later. All these are, of course, vanity, but still, they're interesting to get and can be considered prizes for your treasure haul. Well, later has now come. You can see these random blocks here. They look kinda dumb. Like I just placed them here and now I'm calling this art. Well, there is something more to them. These are trail ruins, and you want to bring your archaeology stuff with you, which notably includes brushes and that's about it. But near this area, we can do some excavation, just some quick excavation using commands here. You can hear some stuff breaking, and then now we have something unearthed down here. Do it again with some stone, and then the same thing with the gravel, and, well, water because this is going to be awful otherwise. We can see a structure is starting to get unveiled down here. The more you excavate, the more you can find, and then you'll slowly realize that this is a full-fledged civilization that is now dead. But, of course, it's pretty tough to excavate. It's a very long and arduous process, and there is no chest in here. They're just an abandoned civilization using a very strange block palette. But, from these individual blocks, you can do some archaeology. Brush down all the suspicious gravel you find, locate all the strange and kind of odd structures down here, and you'll find things of a forgotten past, such as candles, stained glass, and sometimes the fabled armor trims, which are the newest cosmetic added to 1.20. Through archaeology and several other activities, mainly raiding chests, we can get ourselves some armor trims, the new rarest items in the game. We can see that all of them are different material. Well, they're all the same material, but there's up to 10 different things you can use them with, which means quartz, amethyst, diamonds, netherite, you can do them all, and all armor too, which means you can even have your nice netherite coated leather armor. This also means you can have netherite coated netherite, although that's just a waste. You may notice that one of these is not trimmed, and that is because netherite's obtainability has been changed. You now need one of these, located in the bastions, a netherite upgrade smithing template. For an example of how this works, we get ourselves some items, and we put in our helmet, then our material, and then our template. We can see it gets consumed on use. Using 7 diamonds, 1 of a template, and 1 material. I've listed the materials below, but they might not be 100% accurate. We can duplicate them, which means once you get one, you can renew it. However, they are not renewable. All of them are rare, but the most valuable one is silence. They're very rare from ancient cities. You will need to raid several ancient cities in order to get even one of these. Unless you're lucky, of course. Over here, we have a nice little station to show one of the biggest treasures from archaeology. And, of course, it's another decoration. You don't really get too much value out of archaeology unless, trophies. But the biggest item, Sniffers. As you can see, it's a sniffer egg. It looks, a little odd for Minecraft, especially its sprite, but I think I like it. But through time, this will slowly grow up in 10 minutes if it's on moss, 20 minutes otherwise, and it will become a snifflet. That is the term for a baby sniffer. After another 20 minutes, you can get a full-on sniffer, an extinct creature in which you can only find its eggs by doing archaeology in warm ocean ruins, which means you have to find the sandstone ones. It wanders around, and sometimes it will sniff the ground and bury its head in. And when it does so, it will unearth seeds. I have these seeds here, and we can see they start off small, and of course it's tempted by torchflower seeds, like that. You can breed them using that, but they do not like pitcher pods. Using those, you can get another sniffer egg, but through some bone meal. We can bone meal these up, and we can get torch flowers, and on the other end, we can get pitcher plants. Note they do not eat spiders, unfortunately, but still, they are quite useful nonetheless. You can harvest them, and you can turn them into cyan and orange dye, but that's kind of a waste. Instead, you use them for decoration. You can see we can plant them separately now, which is pretty nice. Well, you can't do too much with them, but it's a nice decoration after all. And it's showing, hey, I own Sniffers, and you don't, so I'm better. For some of the other features of this update, we have a new type of skulk sensor crafted using amethyst and a normal skulk sensor. A calibrated skulk sensor, which is the better version of said skulk sensor. You can see, only that one's picking up signals, because this one has been calibrated to only receive me throwing items. As you can see, that lamp lit up, and better yet, these ones have shorter cooldowns compared to its undomesticated brethren. Therefore, this one is more useful for redstone, especially if you want to communicate certain things over, say, a communication line. Say, power lines using calibrated skulk sensors will not pick up random background noises such as a phantom flying by and harassing nearby players, versus the boring normal one, which is here to, of course, summon your wardens, although these ones can too, and pick up every single frequency. Therefore, this one is better if you know what you're doing. Without any signal though, it acts as the same with a shorter cooldown. But if you know what you're doing by putting redstone into the amethyst, then you have a new powerful redstone tool. For our other features, we have chiseled bookshelves. Because, you look at the bookshelves, all you see is Among Us and an otherwise useless block. Well, what if they could actually hold books? You can now make funny pixel art, which means, more Among Using, more Among Us pixel art can be hidden everywhere. But of course, Among Using aside, you can also put enchanted books in, same sprite, and knowledge books, which means we have a greater degree of customization with these bookshelves. If you're wondering how an enchanted table works with them, well, we can test it right here. It does not. Even if you put in all the books in, it just doesn't. Therefore, it can't be used as the functional substitute, but it's a fancy way to store books, and otherwise, it's a nice thing for your libraries, which means library tutorial coming soon. For our miscellaneous features of 1.20, we have hanging signs, a very nice welcome addition. Of course, we can put down cringy messages over many signs. We can hang them from fences with a unique model. We can hang them from each other, and otherwise, they look pretty neat. Unfortunately, hanging them like this does not function as ladders. Even though I was in spectator, yeah, not ladders, unfortunately. We also have piglin heads, have fun getting that. Bring your charge creepers to the nether or piglins to the overworld and watch them turn into zombified piglins in 30 seconds. Then, we also have 5 new songs in this update. We have one music disc, Relic by Aaron Churoff, and this is what it sounds like. As you can see, it's a pretty neat chiptune song, and it might not necessarily be my favorite. I mean, I enjoy Ward the most, so that says a thing or two about me. But if you want to hear the whole thing, you can find the OST for 1.20 on YouTube. Since I could go on and on about 1.20 for a good 2 hours or so, I'm going to start cutting it short here, even though, of course, I can talk about the individual loot tables for archaeology or the trail ruins, because the thing is, this is the adventure update number 2. Maybe, try searching for some of these things on your own, since you're probably going to find them more fascinating than any way I could ever explain them. Of course, further reading can be found on the wiki, and this is just a compressed version, but otherwise, the only other major things are the advancements. Scrolling down, the entire sniffer line smells interesting, feed a snifflet, and then plant any sniffer seed. A little bit of game design about how to get sniffers and the fact that you can feed animals to grow them up, how to use their seeds, and then, of course, nothing else for any other category except adventure, which includes the armor trimmings, of course hinting at the existence of silence, the rarest one, archaeology, if you read your advancements from time to time, you'll find all these. And, of course, chiseled bookshelves teaching you a little bit about comparators. Otherwise, no new advancements, just the small things. Nothing too fantastical, unlike 1.18 Star Trader and such. One thing that I nearly forgot that everyone will actually see, if you're playing Java Edition, there's a new world create scene. We can see it's a little annoying. I prefer the old one, but hey, this exists now, so might as well get used to it. And we can see that there's a little bit more description to everything. Otherwise, we can set everything as we did earlier, over in like 1.19 and below, and, worlds still generate correctly. Otherwise, all this makes is experimental additions easier to see for the average player. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe. And, well, enjoy Minecraft 1.20. It's a large update, and everything pictured here, excluding the dark oak planks, is completely new. So think about all the new things you can do with these new items. Feeling uninspired in your current world? Maybe try making a new world, and perhaps something new will be with you. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.